OKFM 101.7.
Honorable Mamimra, another side of it. Now, no minister, I hint to say Agyapa deal will be revisited. Your take on that?
This minister, and your minister, we are no cast. Oh, the here E-Levy. Now, E-Levy, the best solve your problems in no here. That's all he needs. E-Levy. We don't even need to go to the international, credit community any longer. And so say you're cutting loans, and so say you're engaging any other. Will take our destiny into our own hands. I mean, one key statement, no many. Say, E-Levy and one here, and I mean, you have started implementing your unconstitutional E-Levy, which I am confident say our case at the Supreme Court. No, at the end of the day, the unconstitutionality will be clearly, determined in our favor. But at least for now, no, you are collecting the E-Levy, and yet you are not satisfied. Bringing back Agyapa. Minia, Agyapa deal way. Many civil society organizations in Ghana, Ubekaya, over 20 civil society organizations, Omunyana, Menkai, what policy in recent times are civil societies issue a strongly worded statement. Say, this must not be entertained. Ubekaya, we in Parliament, the NDC caucus, were the first to raise alarm. You pointed out to the lack of transparency. Share provisions now, even signatories to the account, the whole arrangement is an offshore arrangement, a tax haven. And look, the whole world, they are moving away from transactions that are in tax havens because they don't meet the test of transparency and accountability. So, we engage in dream katashishe, then you go in that direction, And up to now, questions are yebisa, who are the signatories, who are the shareholders, and all of that. No, we don't have those answers in Parliament. And for government to withdraw, after they were exposed, and then the finance minister to have the courage say, yes, you signed the bar. It's more shocking. The level of impunity. Intermediate, I can assure you, sir, the NDC caucus, the BIA say, no Agyapa today, no Agyapa tomorrow. Indeed, as President Mahama said, no, Agyaboni, there's nothing in that arrangement that ever boy. Look, OSHA even the negotiated terms, which is just about what $500 million we'll be getting in a year, when we can, even under the current regime, we can be getting at least $1 billion a year. OSHA very conservative projections that I have seen from our mineral resources. Look, this is the, and you see the worrying thing. The way a buying way omunjing yankola edachi. It's all about udi yindi in ende. Into OSHA get fund oma collateralize OSLA. Oma collateralizes the ESLA from now to 2035. I mean, virtually every fund is being securitized, and for long term, Sikaneba na yedini na ende. Sikan also or more dino and then unim dia or more sikane because ye kasa say minia yentia national service allowance 2 months now, it be 3 months, 4 months. The last time Omo Juma was my constituency, I had to donate my 2 months salaries to them because I couldn't feel right there. You bet to me for the kakra.
Who the salary 2 months? Am I national service for?
Oh yes, because I just couldn't make my conscience. I was because Usha Omubi a bit free north, a bit free takrade. Omu ni obia, and to accept postings to rural Ghana. Omoyade. National service should not be national suffering. And as you cannot cry yet, your mono. It's less than 600 cities. Very measly, poetry-some. At least, national service for party, more accepted postings to all over the country, very difficult terrains. They don't have the luxury of their parents, their caregivers, their guardians. At least, Omono, they should be the first to receive their allowances at the end of the month. Yeah, Kasa to say, District Assembly Common Fund is in arrears. National Health Insurance is in arrears. Cash and carry is back. National Health Insurance says they've received only 6% of what is due them. Despite all the collateralization, securitization, call it what you may. I spend it and then you don't know where the money is going to. School feeding kits. Can you imagine, sir? I mean, they are still at 97 pesos to feed.
Baba, almost say
97 pesos.
Argument is most of pesos. Now 97 pesos. You know 1 cedi. And I'm with the jar. Sir, more can ya na. One say mono. Inisa mukasa.
Oh, I think because at the time, look at even the exchange rate. Look at the time, share even the cost of the bag of maize. You can get it for less than 100 cedis. Today is more than 400 cedis. They speak as if prices of goods and services have been frozen in time. As we speak, they say we are in the greatest inflationary, period, worse in about 20 years. Prices of goods and services have skyrocketed. Look, tin tomatoes, the cost of eggs, the cost of rice, maize, all the ingredients use it to cook. No, they compare material. Almost some have gone up 10 times, 20 times. If 97 pesos could cook in 2016, how many years ago? 6 years ago. And 6 years ago. Look, young cry, in charge, the policy makers. Have our salaries been the same? Salaries now, 2016, 6 years ago. Is it the same? There have been various salary increases into Argentina, feeding our children, which really should be so important to us. We have left it no attention for 6 years. It's totally unacceptable. Look, no prayer will hold ya young no prayer. This management of the economy has been most abysmal, totally terrible, and it's clear to us, managers they are managing this economy just for their private interest. Because Usher Finance Minister, Usher the Honorable Charles Edupine, when say loans all of these so-called financial engineering Agyapa, Esla, Get Fund, securitization, all the road shows when say companies and the transaction advisors fees.
Now me bajo, one more sign a conflict of interest.
Clear conflict of interest, Minia. You are spot on. Clear conflict of interest. You are raising in parliament, you are but they continue to do it. Clear conflict of interest. Misery, our pain, the excruciating pain on policies, place us in. They are just benefiting profiting from it. And the more they engage in such arrangements, the more they take loans, the more their private wealth increases. Look, every other country where there is proper rule of law, they take, accountability serious. These two ministers will either have been in jail by now, and I said they will have gone nowhere near the finance. They will not be allowed to manage
Obi ama me message sesi asa me kan che say. Mo hu de omo ye mo ba no ma be jaja mo. Mo de mo mpe bi niala.
Oh, the mood in
Hey.
the NDC are changing. You say under Professor Mills, not Professor, or yeah, oh, you know, and it was really true to his nature. Oh, Jane said, oh, political recrimination, no, and we are teaming, we are coming, no, yanja, na yanja father for all, but it was not even reciprocated. And look, the levels of crimes against the state, the levels of corruption in this era. Even if President Mills was alive, even his personal nature will have allowed him to implement father for all, you know, policy. I mean, and the kinds of documentation, the kinds of reports. In the coming days, I'll be releasing another bombshell. Look, it is totally unbelievable. Be rest assured, say, look, anybody in the future NDC government, because with the call, let's let them go. One year, the Ghana for not even NDC members, the Ghana for the yes and Nippon. Because it means that you are complicit. Maybe a work or will share now. You let people, you know, get away from accountability.
When snappy one. Palestinian yinina ekoso no ya te se me hu picture bi e wa ha picture da ha ambassador ono so da ha ne nkrofo bi na ma condemn Israeli atrocities no na saadi we wa na pagya ne wa ne ko na ba ne ko ebi wa Gaza Strip ebi wa wan peninsula ebi wa na ebede na atwa.
Tedikai, my main confirm is no question Andra, Palestinian ambassador, or invitee me and some other comrades and activists say or more a special commemoration in honor of the memory of my colleague journalists. Unfortunately, Israeli soldiers Ekono were Jenin. Journalist Oba, very, very iconic. Yenyana Yeshe Newex or Al Jazeera. Journalist Shireen Abu Akleh. Very courageous journalist, a very brave woman, war reporter, always on the front lines for more than 25 years. Waye Juma or Al Jazeera were reporting on the apartheid, the atrocities going on in the Middle East. Now it is really another, you know, example of the level of, you know, war crimes in the Middle East. Now, we share the way the international community are more condemning Putin, the why Ukraine, the focus. The media attention, international media coverage has been on the Ukrainian plight. You know, it is very disappointing, and really it exposes a certain double standard. Say, about the Palestinian, you know, struggler, you don't see that kind of condemnation, that kind of coverage. At least since the killing of Shireen, and let me say, sir. At least this time the international community is saying that look, enough is enough. Mehun statement Vatican were issued. And you see, there's a lot of myth out there. Utie Nkofua, Dudona Jun say it's a religious battle. Mo Jun say Israelis are Christians. They think it's the same Israel in the Bible. And then Omojin say Palestinians, no, Omunyana here Muslims. Shireen, who was killed, is a Christian. He was a Christian. You know, a devout Catholic. Now, it will surprise many to realize there are more Christians in Palestine, among the Palestinians, than in Israel. Indeed, Judaism, they don't have any room for Jesus the Christ. You know, a lot of them don't recognize Jesus, you know, the Christ. There's a lot of, you know, disinformation and a misconception out there. Now, what is important for people to acknowledge, and it's 1948, when the Israelis were relocated, these Jews were relocated from, Europe as a motley, victims of, Hitler and all of that. The United Nations resolution, which showed the 1948 resolution, for a two-state solution, say Palestine and Israel will exist side by side. The problem is extremists don't want to see the other exist. Which are even the land demarcations, according to the UN resolution, consistently, Israel has breached all those resolutions, and they have occupied territories that belong to the Palestinians. This is a fact. Independent organizations have confirmed it. The United Nations Special Rapporteur are confirming. Look, and we share Ghana, our voting pattern, and no dear, we have been consistent, putting all partisanship aside. Our voting pattern at the United Nations, regardless of whoever is president, we have been clear, sir. Israel must respect the 1948 boundaries. The UN resolution must be adhered to. The Air Force is just another case of apartheid. And as I said, I condemn it. When himself from 2000 to this year, the year 2000 to this year, 30 journalists have been killed. And as for those who have been displaced, millions displaced, and they are refugees in their own homeland. And you see, this cannot continue. So, yes, they are putting the Ghanaian government issued statement condemning the violation of the sovereignty of Ukraine. We cannot, in the same breath, be, as it were, endorsing what Israel has done. Look at the case of this journalist. Osheni press attire, press vest, Oshe press helmet, and yet still she was targeted. And let me commend Israeli human rights organizations. Omunina, Omo Akasa Etia, the senseless killing, the senseless assassination of Shireen. They have said, sir, the evidence is clear that this is just a targeted assassination, and Israel has questions to answer. In the United Nations, there must be swift, independent investigations, and the perpetrators must be brought to justice. In Yandra, we re-echoed that call. It was good to see former Palestinian ambassador and dean of the diplomatic corps, Ambassador Omar, during the era of President Kufuor, President Rawlings, Ambassador Omar, former Palestinian ambassador Obaye, Dr. Ben Kumbo, Unim Sherin, he met 3 times with her on the call, or Accra, when Sherin visited Ghana. Former Defense Minister Dr. Ben Kumbo, and also by former General Secretary Comrade Hudu Yaya, Cuban ambassador, who is also another activist I really respect, Ambassador Annette, and Cuba remains under a blockade by the United States. And so it was good to see all of these activists, including Comrade Nayeli of the TUC and other young activists. And the call we are making, and it's that there ought to be justice, and there must be an end to these atrocities. Also, the current world order, there's too much double standards and hypocrisy. It be a invasion. When they are invading, we don't put it as we are putting Putin's invasion. We say, oh, they are defending themselves. Oh, they want to protect themselves. Oh, they are going on a liberation mission. We give it all kinds of, nice connotations. Mm-hmm. But when it is others, look, Shadia Kosovo, Libya, that has become the source of the insecurity on the continent, the terrorism, extremism at Yehono, is because of that senseless invasion of Libya, killing of Gaddafi. Shadia Kosovo, Iraq, where are the weapons of mass destruction? They are Kosovo, Afghanistan, Syria. Let us have fair standards. Let's have, equitable principles. And let's stop these double standards. A liberation mission. Others is invasion. Others, they have to face war crimes. they must go to the International Criminal Court. Then others just get away with it. Indiana, look, I agree with Nkrumah when he said, look, even on this matter of nuclear weapons, either say, let's all have it. Let's all invest in it and have it. And now say, nobody should have it. Look, Russia is become strong and getting away with what they are doing because they have nuclear weapons. The Americans have it. The Israelis have it. The North Koreans have it. And to those who have it, it becomes might is right. They can do whatever they want and get into we have become so vulnerable. Into this whole world order,
Okay.
We need fairness. We need principles, and the double standard, the hypocrisy, is just too much. It has to stop.
Okay. Honorable Medasa pay.
Yo, Mr. Medasa.
Yes, I say Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP for North Town and Minority Spokesperson on Foreign Affairs.
OKFM 101.7.